Pulling her out front. She's about to go to a new home. You want to just push it back? Well, there she is. So we were going to build this one. This was going to be the one. This was going to be next. This was going to be we didn't really reveal everything I'm going to tell you. This bed was getting chopped and shortened. It was getting a coyote. This was going to be a street rod. It was going to be slammed with a static ride to it. It wasn't going to be airbag or nothing like that. This was going to be a $100,000 build. This was going to be flawless paint, flawless interior, keep the bench seat, coyote, drivable, over 1,000 horsepower. We're going to build the coyote and make this a driver. That way somebody that's got a lot of money and that wants a driver is going to have full air conditioner, full coolant system. And this was going to be a true street rod. However, that old truck used to sit right here where this chopped Chevy's at that I got back here, along with this Ranger. Both of these are just, don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with it. But I think we're gonna be changing the channel's direction. I think that's gonna be good for some of y'all. Some of y'all have asked for this. It might not pull good views, we'll see. One thing's for sure though, the big builds, the long builds, they're not pulling good views. People have short attention spans, and it's honestly sad. Even the Nova build, first video, 14,000 views. Second video, 11,000 views. Every single video after that, under 4,000 views within the first week or two. That's not good. Now, a previous comment on a previous video, somebody said I need to stop crying and stop whining about it, that everybody wants to be a YouTube star. Truth is clearly we're 5 to 6 years into this, over 20,000 subs at this moment. And some of y'all have been along the whole entire ride with me, and I definitely don't really complain about much. But sometimes in life, things just don't make sense to do anymore. And when projects are just costing you a lot of money and you're not making money, it kind of don't make sense unless you just really love it. Now, I love this stuff. I really do. I want to do what I'd do if I didn't love it. But I also know how to make money. What we do for a living, I know how to make money. So I know how to make money using cars, and I know how to help people and teach people and show people cool stuff. I've just been trying over the past 5 years to figure out how to put it all together. How do we deliver good content to the viewer?
Hold it in your hand. Let's push it in. Yep, hold it. Push it, hold it. Push it, push it. You gotta listen to me and let off the string. All right, go ahead and push it.
Truth is, this is a very small niche of building these hot rods and even building race cars. I learned pretty quick with the race car stuff. I didn't speak on it a lot, but it's a pretty small niche. Another YouTuber that's actually a racer that has a racing channel says that he often refers to it as it having a glass ceiling. So you can shoot for the stars and you can see the stars, but you're more than likely not going to break out that glass ceiling, and you're never going to probably get to the stars doing the racing content. There is some big racing channels, really big channels, but not the volume that the other channels are at that's not racing. So that's the reason why I kind of stepped away from racing, along with a handful of other reasons that we never spoke about. But the hot rod, I really enjoy this stuff. However, I think there's a glass ceiling in our way. And I think we're shooting for the stars, but I don't think we're gonna be able to hit the stars with this type of building. So I have more car building coming up on the channel, and I think it's even better. All right, so the only problem I got getting this thing off, the steering wheel don't turn. We didn't finish the steering in it, but don't we got the shocks in the front? Yeah, so we have shocks in the front, but of course no bolts in the bottom. So that's not good. Basically, when the wheels droop down, if we pick it up, then all the weight is gonna be on the airbags. This thing is it's gonna have to roll. I wanted to just put it in there with a forklift, but I don't have the width in the garage door to put it in there sideways. I think I can pick the whole car up with the forklift sideways, but then the weight of the wheels will be ripping apart the bags, if that makes sense. Because once we finish this, the shocks, if you lift it up on a lift, we were going to put travel limiter, axle strap travel limiters, so that it's not pulling max on the shock or the airbag. But even then, the shock, if I remember correctly, doesn't extend farther than the airbag extends, or it's not supposed to about. But we were supposed to have limiters. The rear, same thing, nothing but the bags. So there's no shocks on the rear. So the trailing arms will literally just fall like this, and all of the weight of that whole rear axle will be on just the bags if we lift it up like it is right now, because there's nothing back there but bags. So unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to roll it, at least pull it in there, and then get it on dollies, and it's gonna have to be pushed into the corner. Now, I think the next direction we're gonna go is gonna be even more relatable to the average viewer. You're not gonna need an English wheel, you're not gonna need press brakes, you're not gonna need plasma tables, you're not gonna need all this stuff that we've acquired over the past handful of years. You'll just need basic hand tools and a little bit of drive and determination. And I think I can show y'all, the viewer, how you can achieve some pretty nice things in life doing this and end up with some pretty nice rides. So I'm super excited about the direction we're going to take. I don't think that it's going to work right away. I think it's going to be a slow start. I remember when we started this Plymouth build, we didn't really get many views. It was a very slow crawl, and then they started picking up, and we got a couple pretty big bangers on this build. However, most of them averaged pretty low. So I'm hoping that we can break the ice on the new content and we can do some improvements. I'm trying to get in a cameraman so that the footage is a little bit better, and hopefully we will be able to create overall a better experience for you, the viewer. Of course, I forgot our valve that we made a long time ago that pumps it up. So I had to make this, which ain't gonna be fun. But basically the car's hitting now is too low. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it up without the jack. Like, I don't know if it has enough air pressure. Mine barely does. Now, the Plymouth is not going anywhere. Now, everything is for sale for the right price. I own a car dealership and a body shop, and I'm not scared to sell anything. I'm not attached to anything. But we are putting the Plymouth in storage. So Eddie actually come up with this idea of utilizing a corner of the shop that we had just some junk in. So we did some tidying up and some rearranging and did a little bit of building, and we built this car a new home, basically. So I have a lot of time into this car, a lot of time. This is a one of one type of car. I've never seen a build like this, and I'm not quite ready to just dump this. There's a lot of money already in this just as a roller. I mean, for crying out loud, we're kicking a couple $1,000s worth of rims right there. But we want to just put this thing in storage and take a break from it possibly, and maybe do a little bit, of some other stuff on the channel. But with that said, if anybody is interested in continuing on with this project, and my vision, and you have followed the channel the whole time pretty much, or even if you have your own vision, my email is always in the description, and I would be glad to talk to anybody and entertain offers of making this car yours. So this car is very unique, and it's all the hard stuff is done and figured out. It basically just needs finishing. Even the inside trim is all done except for one window. So I have pretty much done a lot of the hard stuff, but I have a gut feeling that's telling me that this is not the way to the type of success that I want out of life. It's not about just building this car. I just like building cars in general. I'm a car guy, and I like all kinds of stuff. That's why we change up. I mean, these mini skid steers and these mini excavators, I put the excavator on the channel because, we purchased them. So I'm just a normal dude, and we like working on stuff and building stuff, and I really, really, truly am excited for the direction that we are going to take. Now, this car was a little tricky to get unloaded, as you've seen in here, because we never finished the steering shaft. So all the steering is there. It's just the shaft is not hooked up. It's not welded. It needs some tack welds. And then it needs some mounts and stuff like that. So I didn't want to just rush through it just to be able to move it. Our forklift picks up most front-wheel drive cars. We continuously have to move around wrecked cars and scrap cars and stuff, and we actually do it a lot with this forklift. We've lifted a lot where the back tires, as you can see right here, are barely skimming the ground. This is a heavy car. It has a Cummins in it with an Allison transmission and a full, extremely heavy frame. So this was a lot. I knew that this car, moving this, was going to be a tricky task, and I knew it was going to be a headache. And sure enough, it proved to be, all afternoon to get this thing into where it goes. The video makes it look short and fast and easy, but it by no means was easy. Having no steering alone and not being able to just pick this thing up was definitely the hardest part. Anytime I pick it up, like just now, it has to be where the tires are just barely off the ground, and I'm not going to just let it sit there forever. You can see right there, like the rear of the forklift's not even hardly steering us at all. So this proved definitely to be a challenge, and definitely made me want to load it on the trailer and take it to the scrap yard a couple times during this process. But overall, I'm glad that now it is in a safe spot that's not in anybody's way. It's not costing me any money. We weren't utilizing that square footage that it's going into anyway. And so I think this is the right move. I really feel good about this. I think this is the right move. But as they say, anything's for sale. And my email is always in the description. Now, of course, we have 4 of these wheel dollies, and 2 of them have bent wheels. So they're 3 wheels for 2. So I basically decided to rob 1 wheel, and now that one only has 2 wheels, and now this one has 4 wheels. So I have 3 dollies total, and I have 2 sets of go jacks, but I didn't want to put the go jacks under the front because it can't just stay with go jacks underneath it. Once it's up against the wall, you're not going to be able to really get the go jack out. So the go jack is on this side, which is the side that's not going to go near the wall. And then I'm going to use that other dolly on the other side and push this thing over up against the wall. I need to honestly go to Harbor Freight and buy another set of these, but these dollies, dude, if you have priced them recently, they have went way up. Harbor Freight don't even sell affordable dollies by the set of 4 anymore. Now you have to just buy them by the 2, or if you buy them in the 4 set, they're not cheap at all. So I'm definitely looking for Harbor Freight to do a sale on these things. And next time they do a sale on like 2 of them, I'm probably going to go ahead and snag them, because this was definitely a workout to getting this into place. So if you ever use these, that the wheels don't really want to roll right. You have to kind of fight with them and wiggle them around to get them to roll perfect. These are the older style. Definitely not the newer stuff, which I'm sure has a lot of improvements. But this little corner right here worked out amazing. We've got the overhead up above it to store a lot of expensive Ford parts for Super Duties and 15 and up F-150s. And so I need that stuff for rebuilding to save money. Now, Eddie asked me, he said, did you measure this before you build it? And I said, well, I went off the KA Tools website, which is our brand of our lift at the house, and basically used their footprint. I knew the car fit on the 4-post at the house, and I used their footprint, and sure enough, I was like a foot short, and I thought I probably would be, and I was also just reusing lumber that I had laying around. I didn't go buy none of this lumber. And so we put the 4x4 there, but it had to come out. So quick, sketchy ratchet strap to the ceiling to lift this up, and we will get this 4x4 out of our way. It was just in here 1 screw temporary anyway. And then we'll slip this car into place, and then we'll put the 4x4 back. And whenever we go to pull this car out again, which probably is not going to be anytime soon, we'll pull the 4x4 back out of the way.
Sounds like you're hitting literally the back of the...
I told Eddie, look, I'm over it. I'm not going to continue pushing this. It's about 4 feet. It needs to go back. And fighting with all these wheels, we'll just come in, scoop this thing with the forklift, and just push this thing, pick this thing up right against the wall, leaving just a little bit of weight on the tires because we don't want to rip the airbags. But the forklift just makes of an ease work. My setup at my business, we've really got it where we work smarter, not harder, and we utilize this forklift for a ton of stuff, and it makes it so much easier. All right, so that's where it's going to sit at. I'm done for today. Monday morning, we're going to have to 4x4 the frame, the main frame underneath there, because right now all the weight of the car, the engine, everything is just on the bags, and they're going to deflate all the way down. And so then if they already aren't, actually, yeah, I need to go ahead and stick some 4x4s under it. Let's grab one real fast. All right, because basically once the bags lose pressure, then the frame is going to try to go down more. The wheels are going to be as high as the dollies have them up, and everything is built to lay equal. If anything, your frame needs to be higher than your wheels. Boy, does it feel good to have an empty garage, to feel wide open space. But what are we gonna stick on this lift? So you know we're gonna build something. I've already purchased it. I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to be a very good venture that we are gonna go into on the channel, and I think it's gonna be entertaining for the people that wanna be entertaining, and I think you might learn something for people that wanna watch. We are changing up the format. We're not gonna do so much boring instructional stuff. I think that's part of our problem with our growth, is we're going to try to move through stuff at fast pace. So if you're going to stick around, hopefully you hit subscribe. You stick around because I'm hoping that we do whole entire builds in 1 to 3 videos flat. So some whole entire builds might be 1 video, others might take 3, a little more complicated. These are going to be builds that you could possibly achieve yourself right at your home, because I'm excited to say that we're going to do it right here at the house. I'm also going to try to do as much painting as I can right here at the house. Now, I'm not going to do it in here. We're going to actually turn our shed also into a makeshift paint booth where we can shoot panels in there. We can't shoot whole cars in there. You'd have to do that outside, but we're going to try to shoot our parts right here at the house, just like you would do at your house. And I will show you as we go through them processes of how I do it. And we're not going to get in-depth boring, but if you ever have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment section, because I will gladly answer any questions that you could possibly have to help you out along the way. Now, my fabrication tools are not going anywhere. We're actually about to build a new fab table here. That's the reason why you might have been catching this in the background. We're going to incorporate this into a new fab table because we're still going to fabricate stuff. We're still going to work on stuff. We might just not do as much. Metal Break's not going nowhere. And if you watched or I don't know if it comes out yet, there's going to be a welder review video where we built this drill press table over here. So I have a really cool drill press that I'm hoping to be restoring too. So we're going to still play with some vintage tools, and we're just going to hopefully be well-rounded and able to do multiple things at faster pace. And hopefully everybody will be able to get a little bit of something that they like and enjoy to watch.